Alright, welcome back everyone. I, of course, am your host, Niz, and you're watching NizCast. We're casting the Dota 2 Canada Cup Season 7. We're in the group stage. I know at the top it says Open Qualifiers, but we are indeed in the group stage. As we're casting our third match of the night. Our first match was between Animal Kingdom and Evernova. We saw Evernova take the win there. Our second match was between compLexity and Lucchini. compLexity took that in dominating fashion. And now our third game is going to be the winners match between the two winners of those two matches. So we've got Evernovas, they're going to be on the Radiant side, and compLexity is going to be on the Dire side. Following this match, we're going to take our two losers from those previous two matches and have them square off against each other.
Turn to ban.
And then we will have two teams essentially remaining. We'll have the winner of this match, which will already get into the playoffs. We'll have the losers. They'll eventually then play in the decider match, our fifth and final match of the game. And then our second match, the loser of that gets eliminated, and the winner of that will then go to play in the decider match. A little complicated, but hopefully you'll be able to follow that as we get a little bit closer to those matches actually coming together here. But we're in the winners match right now, and, well, compLexity banning out the Ricky once again. While we had a little bit of our break there, I looked into a little bit more about that match where Ricky was played in WePlay. And I just kind of browsed through the game really quickly. And no spoiler, but man, Ricky might be a hero. Might be a hero in compLexity. You know what? They may not even think that Ricky is necessarily that strong, but they just don't want to be caught off guard. And say, you know what? We can play against whatever else is out there. We're just going to ban out the Ricky. And you know what? They saw the strength of Evernova's playing the Winter Wyvern in the first game of the series. Evernova's actually first picked the Winter Wyvern, so immediately compLexity disbanding that out. Saying, you know what? We're just going to get rid of things that we're just not... We feel like we could get caught off guard by. So immediately banning those out. And Evernova's saying, you know what? We're going to ban out the Lich. We're going to ban out the Tiny. Two things that compLexity used to great advantage in the previous match, but does leave the Wisp in the pool. So we'll see if compLexity chooses to go after that. Judging by what they've already picked up so far, I'm guessing that they probably won't, but they have picked up the Nature's Prophet. I mentioned it a little bit in our last game when it was banned. The fact that Nature's Prophet
10 seconds remaining.
Got nerfed a little bit, but for the most part, not really. He's still just as strong as he was in 686, so no surprise that compLexity feeling that they can pick him up this early in the draft, but they're going to pair it with a Crystal Maiden, who did get buffed a little bit, but nothing too super significant. As for Evernovas, they picked up the slightly nerfed Enchantress, but once again, I still think that hero is very strong, so Evernova's picking that up, and they're going to pair it with the Bounty Hunter, which we've seen in both our matches tonight, I believe. And then we move into our next banning phase, where Bat Rider once again getting banned out. I believe compLexity banned it out last game, but they're also banning out a Spectre, who I think a lot of people are surprised that 687 didn't come with a more nerfs towards the Spectre. But we haven't seen it get picked up yet. We do see it get banned here, but I don't know. I don't know how strong Spectre is going to be. I think maybe there's a possibility that Spectre could be stronger than ever, but we'll see. Evernovas, they banned out the Dooms and Phantom Lancer. And then we get to basically where we are in the draft right now, with the Witch Doctor getting picked up, and now the Queen of Pain getting picked up. So far I see Nature's Prophet essentially being the offlaner for compLexity, Queen of Pain being the safe laner, and Crystal Maiden being probably the more stay-at-home of the two supports. As for Evernovas, we expect the two supports probably to be the Witch Doctor and the Bounty Hunter, with the Witch Doctor being the more stay-at-home one, as I kind of called the Crystal Maiden, but the position 5, and Bounty Hunter being the more aggressive, the more mobile of the two, and in that kind of position 4 role. And the Enchantress, well, we'll have to see exactly where they choose to put her, but most likely she'll be in the offlane. Puck now getting picked up. That should be the mid laner for Evernovas. So they really just need a carry to round out their lineup.
10 seconds remaining.
And now compLexity, who are they going to go with?
5 seconds remaining.
They need both a support and a safe laner.
Reserve time.
Juggernaut.
I'm going to go with Juggernaut. So Jug got
Radiant
changed a little bit in the
team
patch. His healing ward now automatically, whenever you place it, it automatically is set to follow Jug. It kind of matches up exactly with how Sigil works on Tusk. As soon as you press Sigil and it spawns the Sigil, it'll automatically always be following you. Healing ward will now also do the same.
5 seconds
Buff,
remaining.
I guess. I mean, not really. It's not really much of a change to Jug, but it is a change.
Reserve time.
Now we step into our final bans. As Enigma getting banned out, so Evernova is saying, you know what, we are not going to let you go greedy with a jungle Enigma. Not really sure if compLexity would have even felt comfortable
10
going with the
seconds
Enigma,
remaining.
given there was a bounty hunter on the other side. Maybe I'm wrong on that,
5
though.
seconds remaining. Reserve time.
compLexity now can feel pretty comfortable banning out whatever they don't like going up against the Juggernaut. They're going to remove the
compLexity's
Anti-Mage
turn to
this
pick.
time around, which I think is good. They struggle with being able to lock down the Anti-Mage, so it makes killing him very difficult unless they choose to go with an Orchid, which is a very real possibility. Nature's Prophet and Queen of Pain in the past have both been heroes that
10 seconds remaining.
can potentially pick up an Orchid
5
to silence the
seconds
Anti-Mage.
remaining.
Or then they could also build into something more like a Sheep Stick.
Reserve time.
It's also something that would go. It's also kind of hero that would go quite late into the game, so that's where kind of Juggernaut's going to start falling off. Nature's Prophet kind of starts falling off. Even Queen of Pain kind of starts falling off. As she more transitions away from primarily spell and magic damage and more towards right click damage
10
as well.
seconds remaining.
And Zeus is going to be the final pickup for
Radiant
compLexity.
team pick.
So that's a support Zeus? Huh. It's good against Bounty Hunter. It's also good at
10
making
seconds
sure that you
remaining.
maintain map control. Cutting down some of those observer
5
wards. It gives you
seconds
some good
remaining.
burst damage, which is good against Bounty Hunter. It's good against Witch Doctor. It's good against Puck. All three of those
Reserve
heroes very
time.
fragile if you're able to hit them. And really, the kind of damage that Zeus deals out, you can't really dodge it.
10
Even
seconds
Enchantress,
remaining.
somewhat vulnerable to the Zeus. Enchantress kind of protected by her untouchable.
5 seconds remaining.
And Zeus kind of just passes right through that with his magical damage. And Lifestealer is going to get picked up. I was having a conversation the other night. I think it was actually last night with a friend talking about the patch and the changes and what we think is potentially going to be strong, what we think isn't, and just kind of the direction we thought that Dota was going in. And one of the things that we really kind of, I guess, got hung up on was how strong we think Lifestealer is going to be in this patch. And we were both kind of the belief that Lifestealer is going to look very, very strong with the patch and as it develops. There's a lot of new items that have been added in, a lot of changes that have led to Lifestealer just getting stronger.
10 seconds
No, I don't-
remaining.
I don't really know if there is a hero out there that has been as affected with the new items as Lifestealer has, and we're going to see if he's going to be able to use some of that. But I'll get into that in just a second. As on our Radiant side, we're going to have Evernovas. We saw them win their first game of the match. If they win this one, they're going to move in to the playoffs and force compLexity to play a third match. We've got Derp playing the Witch Doctor. Let Me Go is going to be on the Puck. Mercy Please is going to be playing that Lifestealer. Schwann's going to be on a Bounty Hunter, as we saw him TP to the mid-tier 1 tower to get out far out on the map and place an observer ward. And Ho-Okay is going to be on the Enchantress. As for our dire side, it's going to be Team compLexity. We've got Swindles playing the Nature's Prophet. Limp is going to be on the Zeus. Chessie is going to be playing the Juggernaut. Z-Freak is going to be on the Queen of Pain. And Handskin is going to be playing the Crystal Maiden. So a little bit of a change to what I expected coming out of the draft. Z-Freak is actually going to be playing the Queen of Pain. So it's a support Queen of Pain. And Limp is going to be on the Zeus. So a slight change of plans there. But looks like compLexity will take their position on the top rune, and Evernova's will take the bottom rune. So both bounty runes are going to get split. Once again, no XP awarded for that initial bounty rune. Of course, all the other bounty runes will give XP and gold as they did previously, but the initial ones, the ones at the 0-minute mark, will just give gold. So kind of going back to that Lifestealer, talking about what I think is really strong. Obviously, Windlace I think is an incredible item. I'm really surprised that we're not seeing more people pick it up. And that might have just been they've played more games and they really feel like they're struggling with inventory management, or they don't see the 225 gold being worth it. I don't know about that. But I talked a little bit about the rise of Vanguard. We haven't seen any tonight, but we might see Vanguard starting to get picked up a little bit more. Both those items I think could potentially work with Lifestealer. We've got a couple of the other new items. We've got the Echo Saber, which was picked up earlier. Even the Hurricane Pike, as we're going to see a cask bouncing in here. First Blood's going to go in favor of Evernova's, as they're going to drop Handskin on that Crystal Maiden, as Derp has to run away from a spinning Chessie, as he's going to run right back into Mercy Please. He's going to smack him a couple times as the Nyx, but not going to be able to get Chessie anywhere near low HP for them to potentially go for a kill there. And this is going to be an interesting position in the game where Evernova's, they kind of can punish compLexity for their supports. They've gone for a rather greedy support lineup with this Queen of Pain support. But I mean, this is actually really good here, as Evernova's able to open up onto the Queen of Pain, and you saw Z-Freak was holding his abilities. And because they were able to get on top of her there, because Xuan was able to get on her with the Orb of Venom, slowing her down, she had, or Z-Freak had to pick up Blink, and then she had to blink away. So now basically this level 1 Queen of Pain is a lot less useful, and Z-Freak's going to want to hit level 2, so he's got access to one of his other abilities, so he's able to actually do something as opposed to just kind of right click and blink. So as for our lanes, in our bottom lane, looks like it's just going to be this 1v1 for the most part, as we're going to have Nature's Prophet going up against Enchantress. In the mid lane, it's going to be the Zeus going up against the Puck. And in the top lane, it's kind of in a tri-lane where Bounty Hunter's been kind of roaming around a little bit, but for the most part, he's kind of been up there, paired with the Witch Doctor and the Nyx. And for compLexity side, they have the Juggernaut, the support Queen of Pain, and the Crystal Maiden. There's a little bit more stacking there from compLexity, just stacked a little bit too late there, but it will pull. And now Derp and Mercy Please are both going to step up and try to interrupt that pull through.
Dire's top tower is under attack. No.
But yeah, we can really tell that compLexity's kind of taking it easy in this lane. They know that Z-Freak's still on level 1, can't really provide much, and still, Crystal Maiden's kind of vulnerable. If they're able to go on her, sure, she can put out a lot of damage, and she can do a lot of control, but for the most part, she's still very, very slow. 280 move speed. When she doesn't have boots, when she doesn't have Windlace, when she doesn't have anything to increase her movement speed, she is a very, very slow hero. 295 on the Queen of Pain, a full 15 difference right there, and of course, other heroes are going to be a bigger difference. We do have Limp coming back towards the mid lane, as Xuan has actually elected to go with a Windlace as his first item after his starting items. Windlace is essentially poor man's boots. It's a little bit, it's basically half the cost, just over half the cost of boots, and it gives you just under half the effect. So it's not as efficient as boots, but it does give you that additional move speed early on, and that can be very, very valuable. Schwann's going to actually open up here onto Handskin as Derp Derp is the focus target from compLexity. He's going to try to TP away, not going to be able to do so in time. As Schwann got Handskin down to about half HP, and now Schwann tries to run away, but Handskin is there with the freeze, and will Schwann get away from Chessie's spinning? He will, just barely out of range. Mercy Please will score a kill onto Handskin, so he's able to chase down that Crystal Maiden. And he'll get away safely, so it is a 1-for-1 trade. As it's Derp Derp for Handskin, both of the position 5 supports. Constantly keeping tabs on this mid lane where we've got 22 and 5 CS for the Puck, and the Zeus is sitting at 26 and 3, and we see Schwann died to neutral creeps there, and that was intentional. Just once again taking that more efficient trip back to the fountain. If you spend your gold, so you're not losing gold, and you're managing your reliable gold, you can easily just die to neutral creeps and port back to the fountain. That way you don't have to burn through all of your regen. You can see Schwann actually didn't have any regen left. As we saw him crossing over mid a little bit earlier, he just had one tango. Schwann tried to open up on Chessie. There was a few attacks there that actually ended up getting cancelled as Let Me Go actually dies in the mid lane. Handskin making a rotation there and combining with Limp, and immediately we get a pause from Chessie. Sorry, TS lag. Didn't know people still use TeamSpeak, but apparently compLexity does. Looks like they're ready. The lag has cleared. Both teams are ready. There we go. So we start on pause and we get right back into it. In our tie game here between Evernovas and compLexity, both sitting at 2 kills apiece. Cinnamons has his phase boots completed, just needs to deliver that second blades of attack. Schwann gets one auto attack, not able to get a second. Now Handskin doing a little bit of harass damage there. Schwann going for the flank, but didn't really want to walk in to Handskin there, get frozen up and killed. Cinnamons and Limp both deep in the Radiant jungle. Z-Freak here and Viz as well as Enchantress might be in trouble here. As there we go, Sprouts coming out from Swindle Mounds as she gets the heal off, the healing wisps. As Limp dives past the tower. He's taking a lot of damage from this tower. He just goes down. I don't know what Limp was thinking on that one. Obviously some serious miscommunication from the boys of compLexity. Z-Freak just hides in the trees. They don't really look too much for him because he's got Blink. Juan places that Observer Ward up by Roche on that little pillar, and that gives him not only vision of this Ancients, but any kind of movement coming down through here, moving towards the bottom lane. It helps protect your safe laner. And also allows her to kind of push up further on the tower and get damage on the tower, because the kind of natural path that you take to try and approach her would be through the left side.
Double damage!
Schwann's been kind of sprout blocked there. But he does pick up the double damage and get some damage into Swindle Mounds. But for the most part, we've seen a few kills, but this game has been a little bit slower in terms of action than we've seen in previous games. And I think a lot of that was because we kind of had this tri-lane versus tri-lane in the top, and we don't really see too much of that recently, but maybe that's things to come in 6-8-7. Our leader right now in CS is the Enchantress at 48 and 20. Well, we've got two heroes on the side of compLexity close behind. The second one is going to be Chessie, sitting at 46 and 8. And then it's our mid matchup as Limp sitting at 40-4, but Let Me Go is sitting at 40-7. So both pretty much dead even. And then the next two are pretty even as well. The Schwann taking some damage here, and he will go down as compLexity scores their third kill and evens that up as well. Z-Freak goes in, tries to harass this Puck. Looks like Puck actually tried to phase shift the Shadow Strike there, but maybe just a little bit off on the timing because it has landed.
Is under attack.
And this is exactly why they wanted that Observer Ward placed there, so that they could make a rotation down towards the bottom lane and get to this Tier 1 tower, get a little bit more gold. But we've got a little bit of dive in the top lane, going past the tower, forcing Schwann back. As compLexity looks for a trade of a tower, the bottom Tier 1 will go down. Z-Freak and Limp are here as well, as they'll come back up for the Tier 1. Looks like both teams pretty content with just kind of trading there. However, the Enchantress has TP'd on in. Drip TPs as well. They get a nice cast off. That allows them to get the kill on Hanskin. But Chessie goes on the offensive, gets a kill on Derp, but it's going to cost him his life. Limp and Swindlemelons coming in from the side. Both are going to have to TP out at the same time. And they will be able to do so. Now it's just Z-Freak, the only one left, as he'll be able to blink away. So 3 remaining members of compLexity able to escape there, but it does cost them 2 to go for that play. Until Evernova's was setting that up. They had the early TP to the Tier 2, so that compLexity couldn't see the TP coming in. But then they start charging up this lane, and then right as the tower's about to fall, Derp goes for the aggressive TP, and then compLexity's all of a sudden committed to that. And just a nice setup there from Evernova's. It only gets them 1 extra kill, but it's still a little advantage going their way. We just saw 1 tome getting purchased, and that was by Derp, so now he's level 6, has access to his ultimate.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
As actually, I mentioned Bulldog talking about the Nature's Prophet earlier. One of the other things he was talking about with Tome of Experience was he kind of expected the first tome to be given to a core, and then the ones after always going to supports. But so far, seeing all of them go to supports so far, it's because the 10-minute mark kind of comes at a time where the supports are really close to hitting 6 for the most part, and we see an example of that this game, as that allowed the Witch Doctor hit level 6, and look at that, Z-Freak just hits level 6. He's actually bringing a tome out right now, Tome of Knowledge, sorry, it's called. And he'll deliver that
Middle tower is under
and
attack.
pop it immediately. Almost brings him up to level 7. With the Dragon Lance picked up by the Enchantress. I want to see if she's going to pick up Hurricane Pike. Actually has great synergy with Impetus. Hanskin rotating down towards the bottom. I thought maybe Swindlemelons is going to go for a TP in behind and Sprout or something like that, but no, not going for that play. Just going to farm up in the bottom lane. Here we go, the Nakes infest bomb with the Puck. Blink in, infest, jump on Limp. So much damage with that Dream Coil. And Let Me Go with that increased orb speed. Increased it by 1, which apparently is a lot. Allows Let Me Go to keep chasing Z-Freak there, and Z-Freak was trying to juke as much as he could, but not able to escape there. And Let Me Go. I really didn't think he had to jaunt to that orb, but he did. And Chessie says, well, I'll collect this kill with a nice little Omni Slash there. So in the end, that dive wasn't really worth it for Let Me Go. But they did get a kill prior to that on Mercy Please has actually gone for an armlet. This is one of the other kind of paths that we were discussing the other night.
Dire's top
But how
tower is
armlet
under attack.
is going to be a very, very big item potentially. Or certainly a lot of people are going to experiment with it. That extra 5 armor is going to be huge. So we're seeing a scan getting used in this location right here.
Dire's middle
Not
tower
going to scare
is
out
under attack.
anyone though. There was actually an armlet pickup by Sumail on a Wind Ranger earlier as well, and that's part of what I was talking about. That armlet's always been
Illusion.
Dire's middle tower
it's kind of been
is
leaning
under attack.
towards more of a hero like Lifestealer, a more melee oriented, a strength based hero, but it doesn't have to be. I think way back to Dota 1 there was a phase where Sniper would pick up armlets, and oh, Z-Freak taking some damage. That of course was when you could armlet toggle, but Derp gonna drop the Death Ward, but immediately gets silenced by that Orchid just freshly picked up by Swindlemelons. As Derp is unfortunately going to go down, but he is able to score a kill onto Z-Freak before doing so. The Limp almost had access to that Thunder God's Wrath in her 20 or so seconds, and that could have been very, very different. Let Me Go once again has an axe inside of him.
Silence.
Well, Limp could be in trouble in the mid lane. There are 25 seconds for Dream Coil still. A lot of heroes here from compLexity, and now Let Me Go and Mercy Please are in trouble. Mercy Please actually jumps out, and they both end up stuck in a sprout. Mercy Please toggles that armlet. He tries to run away. Chessie doesn't have access to Omni Slash. Limp not able to get close enough for a bolt. Another 2 kills go the way of compLexity, but this one's still anyone's game. 9-8 right now. Evernova is still actually leading.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
The Veil now getting completed by the Zeus, so more magical damage going to be able to come out from them.
Tower is under attack. Radiant's middle
Chessie
tower
spins
has
on the tower and says Fury as he's about to complete his Battle Fury. Swindlemelon's picked up that Orchid. You got Z-Freak still just with the magic wand. Handskin's got his Tranquils. And we had just mentioned the Veil pickup by Limp. So we move on to talking about Evernovas. They've got an urn just completed by Derp. We've already seen the blink from Let Me Go. But, he's also got a Helm of Iron Will, so we're going to see most likely a Veil coming out from him as well. Schwan, saw him get the Windlace. He's also picked up his Arcane Boots. So typical bounty hunter stuff. Mercy Please, we saw him pick up that armlet, and there we go, Blightstone. First Blightstone we've seen picked up so far. So this is just basically a unique attack modifier. But what it does is every time when you attack a target, you reduce their armor by 2 for 8 seconds. And well, that's kind of replaced the Desolator recipe. And we actually see him complete the Desolator immediately. Really surprised that we haven't saw him pick up the Blightstone a little bit earlier to take advantage of that as part of the build-up. But either way, he's going to infest into Let Me Go. And I want to quickly touch on the last hero because there it is. The Hurricane Pike picked up by Enchantress.
Radiant's top
Saw her
tower
pick up
is
that
under
4 staff
attack.
and immediately the Hurricane Pike. So what this will do is it basically can work like a 4 staff. I'll have to talk about that in a second because they have found a target. It is Chessie as the Juggernaut just immediately gets blown up. This combo of old definitely still very, very viable. We'll go back to talking
Radiant's top
about the
tower is
Hurricane
under
Pike.
attack.
Basically what it is it's a 4 staff that you can use like you normally would a 4 staff. However,
Dire's
you can
bottom
use it
tower is under attack.
on
Dire's
an enemy.
structures are fortified.
And when you use it on an enemy, they get forced away from you, and you get forced away from them.
Get up if you can.
So it like pushes both you away. However, your next 4 attacks within, how many seconds is it? 5 seconds are guaranteed. So if you, for an example, there was a video created of this, of you can Hurricane Pike your target, TP, go all the way back to Fountain, and then throw 4 auto attacks. So that's kind of the effect. That's a more exaggerated effect that we probably aren't going to see, but anything like that. But it definitely has some really nice synergy with Impetus, and that should allow the Enchantress to do a lot more damage. And it's also another way of being able to distance yourself from your opponent by still doing damage. So it's a way to save yourself, still has the versatility of Force Staff as well to save allies, and then it also allows you to get more damage in from afar and from a safer position. Really, really good item. And I expect it's one we'll see used quite a bit more. Swindelmar's potentially in trouble here in the mid lane. The Schwann's going to open up on him, get some harass damage in. Track. Once again, there comes the Puck and Fest Bomb with the Nakes. They just do so much damage now, this combo.
Is under attack.
More Tomes of Knowledge getting purchased as Derp
Radiant's
buys another one.
tower has fallen.
Silence.
We're going to bring up our net worth. And you can see it's been pretty close all game long. Evernova's doing a really good job here up against compLexity, as they're now 1,000 gold ahead, XP, about 1,000 XP ahead as well. This is still very much anyone's game, despite the fact that it's 13-8 in the last few minutes. We've seen a lot of pickoffs, and it's mainly been that Puck and Fest Bomb with the Nakes, allowing them to score some kills. Lifestealer now picking up the Blink Dagger.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
One of the, speaking of the Hurricane Pike and speaking of weird things that you could do with Lifestealer, Force Staff used to be a very viable pick on Lifestealer. And we were discussing it a little bit about, well, what happens with Hurricane Pike
Dire's
when
top
you use
tower
it
is under attack.
with a hero like Lifestealer, Z-Freak. Oh my god. Yeah, there we go. He somehow survives that last attack, but just requires one more from the Enchantress.
Roshan has fallen to the Dire.
Swirl Mountains will sprout and try to TP away, and that will make it so that Derp takes a little bit longer to path up there before he gets vision, so he can't throw the cask. But what happens when a hero like Lifestealer gets a Hurricane Pike? Of course, he's not going to get the additional attack range because that's ranged only. But everything else should work, right? So you could essentially Hurricane Pike at the end and force yourself away from your opponent and still get 4 auto attacks off. We weren't actually thinking that that might be something that Lifestealers may pick up, but it's certainly an interesting interaction that we unfortunately didn't get the chance to test. But it's one of those fun things that you never know. I think it's far too expensive of an item to use it in a situation like that, but we'll see. Limp with the Ghost Scepter. Yule's now picked up by Puck. Oh my goodness, so much damage. They just jump in, and that combo is just so strong, and there's that Yule's getting used. Tosses Handskin up in the air to interrupt his TP. Limp's gonna get veiled and silenced up by the Puck. I'm not really sure if Puck's gonna be able to get a kill here. He's gonna use the Yules to toss him up in the air. Here comes Mercy Police and Schwann, so yeah, Limp is certainly gonna be in trouble. As there he goes. It actually becomes a double kill for Schwann as Evernovas. Brief moment there. They had 4 heroes dead on the side of compLexity. They are just picking them apart all over the map. Really good play from them as they're looking like they're in a pretty prime spot to be the first team to advance out of Group A into the playoffs. Four staff now getting picked up by the Nature's Prophet.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Gotcha.
Dire's top
maybe
tower
not.
has fallen.
Looks like Swindlemelon sold that. Schwann's in the middle of a bunch of heroes from compLexity. Swindlemelon said just TP to the bottom, start putting pressure on the tier 2. Chessie and Zfreak are here as well. Schwann actually comes out of Invis there. Then he gets dusted up by... Oh, he's going to go down there. I guess he wasn't checking items there. Or just not seeing the duration of his Invis there. As Chessie and Zfreak both getting caught with the coil. Meanwhile, Mercy Please has cleaned up a kill on to Swindlemelons. As there goes Zfreak, and here with the respawn from the Aegis is going to be Chessie. But he's now going to get slowed down, and one more auto attack. There it is. He's going to go down. This unstoppable streak for the puck has let me go. Gets a double kill there. And Evernovas continue to dominate in these fights. Another Ghost Scepter picked up. This one's by Hanskin.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Now they're knocking on the door of the tier 2, and this should be able to fall without much contestant from compLexity, although they will use a glyph to delay them a little bit.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Once again, we haven't really seen too many scans being used just yet. And I think that's something that the teams are going to take a little bit more time getting used to. But honestly, they're just not using them much at all. So I'd rather them use them more and then be like, oh, well, we kind of... This would be a prime time for us to have a scan, and now we don't have one because we're using it constantly. And speaking of which, there's a scan used right here. But one thing that at least Evernova's Derp has been on top of it is buying those Tome of Knowledges. And he's had access to so much extra XP because of that. His Limp going to get caught, and a whole bunch of other heroes are going to get caught. His Hanskin and Chessie were also caught by that same Dream Coil. As Chessie's going to be the one who goes down, Hanskin's going to go down as well. Swindlemelon's on very low HP, but Schwann's going to go down. Swindles will eventually go down. There's Limp, now comes in for a bolt, and he gets slowed down by Mercy Please, and that's a dead Zeus. There's 4 heroes dead on the side of compLexity. It is just Zfreak left alive, and Limp says, you know what, you look a little lonely. I'm going to buy back into the game and also, hopefully, try and help you defend our tier 3 tower here and keep our racks alive. But looks like that buyback was enough as Evernovas, they start blinking away, and they're going to back and maybe get a little bit more HP and then look for another fight and then potentially try to push high ground. Derp has a Hood of Defiance completely purchased sitting in a stash, so he'll want to pick that up shortly. We also have a Hyperstone sitting on the Lifestealer. Schwann has picked up a 4 staff. There we go. Aghanim Scepter picked up by Ho-Okay. We saw him actually... Gonna blink away here. We saw in that fight going on around this tier 3 tower that they actually dropped the gem back here to make sure that they weren't going to throw that away. So they still had access to it, allowing them to get some more dewarding in, and also to make sure that bounty hunters wasn't able to sneak in behind them. Zfreak has picked that back up, and as he was moving out on the map there, he actually saw that bounty hunter before he went on him. AC completed by Mercy Please. So the Lifestealer walking around with a little bit more armor, minus armor. Swindlemelon is going to get opened up on. In the bottom, there's that Hurricane Pike, and look at that range. It is absolutely
next time.
ridiculous. That combined with the impetus is just so much damn damage. That one kill worth 900 gold. Speaking of Schwann being in behind, Z-Freak goes blinking on past as Schwann's hiding in the trees. Now Z-Freak's down here by himself. Maybe he's going to try to set up a kill here on the Enchantress. The Swindlemelon's respawning and TPing on in, but he thinks better of it and TP's away. They're certainly, with Swindlemelons being able to TP in, they do have potential for going for ganks like that, combined with Thunder God's Wrath on the Zeus. Paused here. It's complexity pause, so hopefully they'll be okay as Handskin's actually channeling his ult in the mid lane. It makes for a nice nice pause. But so far, you know, complexity, they got their direct invite into the Manila Major. They looked pretty dominant in their first match. This one, they're not looking too good. And honestly, I don't think it's that complexity is playing very sloppy. I just think Evernova is playing pretty damn good. And complexity's out there trying to get some farm on the map. And it's just, Evernova's always has an answer every single time. You know, let me go. It just seems like he's there. He jumps in. He's got the Dream Coil. He's got the silence. And all of a sudden an Axe comes popping out of him as well for that extra little bit of damage. And every time that's happening, Schwann's also there, using the track, so they're getting extra gold. So both teams have said G. There we go. We finally resume the game and get back to it. Not really sure what the pause was there, but apparently they weren't ready. Because we have 2 pillars of light. I'm not really sure what those are. Maybe it's just remnants of the freezing field that was used by Hanskin a little bit earlier. So it looks like it's going to be a little bit more of an extended pause. So I'm going to take a second here to take a sip of water and rest my voice. Alright, you can see quite a big difference in the items. This complexity, man, they don't really have much. Not much at all. Z-Freak basically has nothing. He's just a walking gem at this point in the game. Hanskin's got his Ghost Scepter to kind of keep himself alive, but for the most part, those supports are so poor. Compare that to, you know, Evernova's, where, okay, Derp, he's got a Hooded Defiance. Nothing too special. He's got an Urn. Nothing too special there. But look at Schwann. He's got a mech. He's got a Force Staff. They're looking pretty damn good when it comes to supports. But it's their cores that are even bigger. This puck is gigantic. With Boots of Travel, Blink Dagger, Yules, Veil. You got so much. And this is Voidstone? Maybe. Sheepstick is what I'm assuming he's going to build that into, but we'll see. And then Mercy Please is huge as well. He's got Phase, Blink, Armlet, Deso, AC, and I'm sure he's got a bunch of gold on hand. Yeah, 1,400 gold right now. That's what he's holding on to. And then even their Enchantress is really big too. And the cores on complexity seem a whole item at least behind. As a Nature's Prophet. It says Orchid and an Ogre Club. As well, they're going to find Swindle Melon. Speaking of that Nature's Prophet, he is going to go down. There he goes. And Z-Freak was there, but wasn't going to be enough. And an immediate buyback from Swindle Melons. Didn't make a sound at all. But they're going to go for the play here as they're going to go on to Mercy Please. As, oh my goodness, no, he's going to enrage. He's going to armlet toggle. I thought he was going to get away there. That was going to be unbelievable. But not the case. And there we go. Another new item getting picked up. This time it's going to be by the Juggernaut. So he's going to pick up the Echo Saber. Same item that we saw last game. So basically his auto attack, when he uses it, will proc twice. So he gets a double attack. And next 5-second cooldown? Yep, 5-second cooldown on those procs. So the other thing that I think is actually quite significant is the debuff. So 0.6 seconds, they have 100% move speed and 100% attack speed slow. I think that's quite significant. This is an item I think would be a really good pickup on the Lifestealer. We're not going to see that this game, I guess, because I imagine you would have already picked it up. Problem I always find with these new items is something like an Echo Saber is fantastic on an Axe. But where do you fit it in? Where do you break up your standard build on a Lifestealer to put that in? It's tough. One of the big ones that, you know, everyone got excited about with the patch notes was the new Aghanims for Earthshaker. But to me, I don't see why that was even added into the game. I don't ever see a scenario where you're going to be able to pick that up. Is there's, oh my goodness, the damage. The damage from the Enchantress when she uses that Hurricane Pike and just throwing those impetus from so far away. Yeah, Mercy Please got the kill and they did some other damage, but the Enchantress impetus is doing so much there. And that distance, the push, is 450 units each get moved. So it's you're instantly creating 900 units between you and whoever you're using it on.
Regeneration.
Or you and the enemy that you're using it on. But Roche gonna go down. Mercy Please gonna get the Aegis. If he didn't have room for an Echo Saber before, he certainly doesn't now. He's got an Aegis in his inventory as well. Almost have a pipe completed by Derp Derp. Schwan is just being such a pest. He's constantly all over Swindle Melons, not giving him any space, and there's the Hurricane Pike again. And it just needed one attack from that impetus to get the kill there. There's still 3 available as another kill from that Puck and that Lifestealer. The Infest Bomb combo. As that time they get the gem, and now we've got a Scythe of Ice completed as well on Puck. Didn't see him actually pick that up, but let me go. Now has a sheep stick. And I see it in chat. I don't understand complexity's lineup at all, and honestly I want to agree, but I do see how complexity could get kills with this, how they could just kind of snowball off that and win the match. I think the part I really don't like is the support Queen of Pain. I think that really weakened themselves in the lineup and opened an opportunity for Evernova to take control of the game early on. As Limp's going to go down here, Chessie's going to try to spin and get away. Thundergod's Wrath also comes out as the Zeus buybacks into the game. But just barely, that Juggernaut will live. As Let Me Go will go down as he's going to try to orb away as... Oh my goodness. The amount of damage coming out from that Enchantress now has picked up a Moon Shard. As Limp now has been sheeped up by that Puck and will go down as Z-Freak comes in from behind. His triple kill and beyond godlike for the Enchantress. As yes, Enchantress got nerfed, but still very, very strong hero in this patch. As complexity will tap out of this one, we will have our first team advancing out of the group stage into the playoffs for the Dota 2 Canada Cup, and that's going to be Evernova's. The compLexity, we're not done seeing them play just yet. They're going to play in our 5th and final match of the night. But first, we have to play our losers match, or elimination match, which will be between Animal Kingdom and Lucchini. The loser of that will be eliminated from the tournament. The winner will go on to play compLexity in that 5th and final decider match. That's going to be it for this one. Once again, guys, I was Niz. Thanks for watching. We'll be back in just a little bit. I believe the next match starts at 9:15. So we do have about another 20-minute break. But hopefully you guys don't go anywhere, and you'll be back for that game between Animal Kingdom and Lucchini. And then the winner of that will go on to play compLexity in our final game of the night, and to determine which of those two teams will advance into our playoffs. We'll see you again in about 20 minutes.